Hey there friends, what's going on? It's Codiak here, one half of the team behind Legacy Gaming, and somebody please tell me where all of these turn-based strategy games are coming from, because that's what we're talking about today. King Arthur Knight's Tale, brand new game, looks to combine the aesthetics of like a Dark Souls with the kind of horror elements that we've seen from other games. I don't even know how to describe it because it just looks so interesting. I know these kind of turn-based strategy games are making a huge comeback. I think Divinity Original Sin 2 was really the catalyst for this. Now we're seeing them pop up. I think I've seen 10 this year, and I'm just excited. I know there are a lot of people that like this type of game. It's a huge time sink. While it's not my particular style of game, it's not something that I'm going to fire up every single night. I know there is a huge audience out there. Baldur's Gate 3 just came out. Let's talk about these turn-based games, man. They are just everywhere right now, and this one looks to excite. Again, it's going to be an Xbox Series X launch, Steam, PlayStation, I believe. It's going to be everywhere. It's a cool looking game, but let's not waste any more time. Let's just dive right in and take a look at King Arthur Knight's Tale. Huge, hulking creatures. And here's the dark twist. Look at this thing. So you can see kind of the inspiration, that Dark Souls mixed with almost like a Witcher-esque vibe. And here we get to kind of see first little bits of gameplay. And check this out. So we got 4 characters on our squad here. Slow. It's definitely slow, methodical. This is pre-alpha stuff we're looking at here. Some basic abilities on the bottom. But again, that tabletop feel as we're going from kind of the scenario to scenario. And it's not just all fantastical things. Here it looks like we're fighting satyrs. You can kind of see the hooves on the bottom there. And then we're got knights versus knights here. Interested to see how this all plays out. And there's that summon of that giant worm thing. I mean, thing is absolutely disgusting. And here's that ginormous reanimated figure we saw in the beginning. Really cool animations. That bone prison's a really sleek animation. Here we see the heroes. All the different archetypes. That's what they're showing you here. The different archetypes available. And this is where things are going to get really interesting. Almost like an RPG here. More than a turn-based strategy game. And we'll go back and we'll take a look at all this in a second. The world of Camelot, I believe, or this is the kingdom of Camelot. Here we go. Different buildings. Oh, so some roguelike elements here. With the plague, things like that. So here we go. Steam, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, King Arthur Knight's Tale. And you can just see, just pause that. Man, look at that image right there. I don't know if that's King Arthur or what, but you see the entire right side of his face completely decrepit. The left side, even the left side kind of looks a little freaky. So really cool looking game. Looks like you can support it on Kickstarter if that's the type of thing that you want to do. Just wow. I mean, when I look at this, I get really impressed by everything that I see because it's not a very common thing to see a game like this, especially something that's being kickstarted. Everything looks fantastic. The creatures look menacing. They look sharp. The heroes, the knights, they look absolutely fantastic. Yes, it plays slow. You can just tell from the gameplay that we're seeing in this trailer that things play a bit slower than I think most people would like. But that's kind of that turn-based strategy time sink that we talked about very briefly at the beginning. And we saw here teams of 4 going into these different scenarios, and it really looks like the scenarios are telling stories as opposed to just going into places and fighting. Now, of course, on the heels of Divinity 2 and Baldur's Gate 3, there's such a high bar for this type of game right now. So we see a lot of really good stuff here. This time it's got a team of 5, just to point that out because I said team of 4 before. We see some basic abilities on the bottom here, 3 main abilities on this character here. We also see 2 different kind of bars. We see something with a heart, which I would imagine is life, and then we see a cross, possibly some sort of sanity. I don't think that's armor. You can clearly see some sort of like armor marker above that hit bar there. But what is that kind of cross thing? Is it religion? Is it sanity? That would kind of tap into the Darkest Dungeons type of thing, where if that bar goes down, you go insane, you get status effects. We saw at the end of this trailer that there is a cleric type of building that would, cure diseases. So I'm wondering how many of these elements they're mixing into play. Is it an RPG? Is it a turn-based game? Is it a roguelike game? Are they mixing these things together? It sure as heck looks that way. But again, it looks really good, other than the fact that it plays slow, which is just a personal preference of mine. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. It's just what I like. I do like that they tap into a lot of the dark mythos of this era. The medieval era is something that's been covered to death over the course of since video games existed. And it really looks like they're tapping into almost a Diablo style kind of horror themed, dark themed world. And I really like that. I mean, that's cool. I think people like that in general. So I'm really excited to see where this game goes. I don't think it's a game that I'll be playing too often, if at all, because it's just not my type of game. I don't enjoy them, but there is a lot of good stuff here, and I wanted to point it out because, yeah, things look really good. It's a cool looking game. Just look at these heroes. They look fantastic. The armor sets look incredibly detailed. I mean, really cool stuff. And I want to bring it back to here. I said we'd pause it here, and I want to talk about this stuff. Just look at this skill tree here. We've got a multi-layered skill tree here with these kind of big nodes and lesser nodes coming out of them. In the center of the screen, we've got clearly an inventory system. Nothing overly complex. We see he's got armor and he's got a weapon. We've also got some potions in the bottom left, and then some sort of book system in the bottom right, whether that be artifacts or something like that. And then we see on the left side here, Sir Mordred. He's got a morality. He's a neutral character, so somehow morality is coming into play. We've got a loyalty trait, so that's just some sort of passive effect on the character, most likely. Then we've got the battle stats. We've got vitality and hit points. That's what that crosses, hit points. Not sure what the difference is between vitality and hit points. Somebody smarter than me can probably tell me in the comments. We saw the armor, the action points, and then below that we see other things that we're kind of used to. Block, physical resistance, mental resistance, injury counter, disease counter, curse counter. So all sorts of basically variables there in terms of in the actual gameplay itself, in the battles. And then at the bottom there, kind of interesting, available at the round table. I wonder what that is. That could be really interesting. Obviously, it's a game about King Arthur, so interested to see how that comes into the picture. Now, we saw a bunch of different abilities here. Obviously, the main nodes are what's the new abilities are a big passive, and then the lesser nodes kind of augment that one ability. That's what you're kind of seeing there. And again, for pre-alpha footage, that's pretty good. That's a decent skill tree for Sir Mordred. And then we see Sir Lanville here, a different set of abilities, still that same kind of skill tree. And I want to go back real quick because he did put some, what did he put on there? Trinkets. They're trinkets here. He puts on some antlers and then just simple jewelry stuff. Clearly the name is not done, as you can see, items.jewelry_T1. You get the point. But yeah, it's a vitality thing. It's just going to increase your base stats. So not incredibly deep in terms of how the items are interacting with the player, at least at this point, each of the characters. But there's enough depth here that I think a lot of players are going to, people are going to see this and they're going to go, oh, that looks kind of cool. I'm kind of interested in that. So a really cool presentation for a game that's still in a Kickstarter phase, a pre-alpha phase. So if you guys like what you see, go support the devs. That's what Kickstarter is all about. Obviously, do your due diligence. Make sure that this is a legit thing, which I assume it is. IGN posted it, so I imagine it's a legit thing. But seriously, do your due diligence. If this is your type of game, I think, I think they're on the right track. King Arthur's Knight's Tale. This is on Steam, PS5, Xbox Series X. At some point, clearly it's not out yet if it's looking for Kickstarter bucks. But you know what to do. Go to Kickstarter, check them out. Obviously, keep it here if you want to learn more about this game. If we see more trailers, we'll do more of these videos. That's what we do here at Legacy Gaming. So hopefully you guys enjoy this new game breakdown series. I really enjoy putting it together. I like talking to the camera. I like talking to you guys, and I like checking out new games. It's just something that I enjoy doing as a YouTuber. So hopefully you guys like this stuff. If you do, leave us a comment, give us a thumbs up. That stuff really helps. And of course, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Lots of big things coming at the end of 2020 and into 2021. So hopefully you'll keep it here for all your video game news and updates. My name is Codiak, and from everyone here at Legacy Gaming, thanks so much for watching, and play on.